Welcome to the Travel Authorizations webinar. In this webinar, we'll be looking at how to create a travel authorization, how to modify an existing travel authorization, and how to view, print, delete, and cancel travel authorizations. When you first sign into Vision 9.2, you'll be taken to your home screen. On your home screen, you'll see tiles. The type and number of tiles you see will depend upon the security access you have to the system. In this case, the employee is only using Vision to enter expenses. To create a travel authorization, we'll click on the Travel and Expense Self-Service tile, and the Travel and Expense Self-Service Center will open. I'm going to collapse the expense report box, expand travel authorizations, and we want to create a new travel authorization, so we'll click on Create Modify Travel Authorization. That brings you to the travel authorization page. There is another way to navigate here. If you click on the nav bar icon in the upper right hand corner, click on Navigator, Employee Self-Service, Travel and Expenses, Travel Authorizations, and Create Modify. You'll be brought to the same window. A few things to keep in mind when doing travel authorizations. An approved online travel authorization is required for all cash advance requests. A travel authorization is required for overnight travel. A supplemental form called the Authorization of Employee Expenses to be paid by a third-party organization may be required when expenses are to be paid by another party. For example, your conference attendance fee is being paid because you are a presenter. All travel authorizations completed within Vision create an encumbrance of funds against an appropriation of the employee's department. See Bulletin 3.4 and your department's policy for more information. Also note that out-of-country travel, which includes the states of Alaska and Hawaii, do require Office of Secretary Administration approval. We want to add a new travel authorization, so we want the Add a New Value tab selected, which it is, and we're going to click on the Add button. That opens the Create Travel Authorization window. You'll need to select a business purpose. In this case, we're going to be providing training. We add a short description of the purpose of the trip. You need to input the destination location. Training is going to be provided in Burlington. And the dates that this will be happening. All dates on a travel authorization must be in the future. In this case, it's going to be provided in the end of February. Note that there's a link to add attachments. In this case, we'll add a flyer that explains the training. So I'll click on the attachments link. The travel authorization attachments window opens. Click on Add Attachment. Click on Browse to go find the file you want to upload. We'll click on that file, click on Open, click on Upload, and the file will be attached to the travel authorization. We can add a description. And click OK. If you did want to add another attachment, you could click Add Attachment again and upload another document, but we're just going to click OK. You'll note that the attachment icon or link now shows that there's one attachment. It would show the number of attachments you've added. If you added more than one, that will let the reviewer know that there's something to look at there. To add an expense line, you click on the date. Select an expense type. In this case, it's going to be in mileage full. Our originating location is Montpelier, and we need to put the mileage in. To view the accounting details, click on the expansion arrow. Accounting details are now displayed. This is based on the default chart string that's been put into your expense access account provision. You can change any of the chart string values here. You can also split the expense costs. So for example, if we wanted to charge $10 of this to the general fund, click on plus, which opens a new accounting line. You need to reduce first line by the $10, add $10 in the second line. We'll change the fund to general fund. Now you'll see that we've split the accounting line. To add a new expense line, simply click on the plus button. A new expense line opens, and we can go ahead and add a new expense. So in this case, let's add a lodging line. Again, you can expand the accounting details. We're not going to change them on this particular expense line. So now I have an expense report with two expense lines. You do have the option of saving for later. So let's say you're in the middle of doing this report and you get an email where you have to react to something. You can always click on Save for Later. You'll see that now an authorization ID number has been assigned and the status is pending. So if we close this out and go back to the Travel and Expense Center, go to Create Modify Travel Authorization, find an existing value, click Search, and we found the one that we worked on, and Save for Later. Click on the link, and we've opened it back up so that we can add more, or we can submit the travel authorization as is. To submit it, you click on the Summary and Submit link. It shows you the information, the total dollar amount. You need to check the certification box. It certifies the costs are reasonable estimates and comply with expense policy, which then makes the Submit Travel Authorization button available. You can add notes here. For example, if you click on the note line, click on Add Notes, you'll see that the note has now been added here. Click OK. We're now going to submit it by clicking on Submit Travel Authorization. Confirm that's what you want to do by clicking on OK. Click on the Refresh Approval Status button. And we'll see two things. One is you can now see the path of the approval. It's been submitted by you, the date you submitted it, and it's now in your travel and expense approver's inbox for their approval or review to send it back to you if there's anything wrong with it. You also have the option of withdrawing the travel authorization while it's still before it's approved. To pull it back from the approver's inbox, simply click on that and that will remove it from the approver's inbox. So let's do that and see what happens. You'll see there's a note on the travel authorization now that says it's been withdrawn from the approver's queue. To resubmit it, you can always go back to Create Modify, find an existing value, call that one back up, click on Summary and Submit, click on the certification box and click Submit Travel Authorization. Confirm by clicking on OK. It's now been submitted for approval again. If we click the Refresh Approval Status button, you'll see the approval path. And I submitted it, and I withdrew it, and I resubmitted it. There are some options that will make it easier to create travel authorizations. For example, we can copy from an existing travel authorization. We go to the Add a New Value tab, click Add, click on Quick Start, this Quick Start drop-down menu, click on Existing Authorization, click Go, and we can call up an authorization that we've created in the past. Click on Select. And you'll see that the information populates in. If this was a trip that you make on a regular basis, let's say you travel around to various locations within the state, this can be a useful tool. All you would need to do is update dates and any specific expense amounts, and you can resubmit the travel authorization. Going back to create a travel authorization, another really neat feature is the quick fill. So let's say you're going to be on a 5-day trip and you know you're going to have dinner every night. You can click on Quick Fill. You'll see a selection of all the various types of expenses you can have. I'm going to go for in dinner all days. Click OK. You'll now see that the expense lines for each day with the dates have all been populated. You'll need to go in and add the details, but that saves you a significant amount of time in creating multiple lines for the same type of expense. Another option is to copy an expense line. So if you go up here to Actions, choose an action. You want to copy an authorization line, click Go. It gives you the list of lines that you have that you can copy. You can copy it to one date, which is what we're going to do. Or you can copy to a range of dates. If you're going to take the last dinner, click OK. And you'll see that we've added a line for that dinner. Those are two options that make it easier to create travel authorizations. To delete an expense line is very simple as well. All you need to do is click on the minus line on that expense line. You'll get a message just saying you want to confirm that you want to delete that line. Click OK, and the expense line is now gone. There's no more dinner line for 12:15. Earlier I showed you how to modify the accounting line on a specific expense. You can also do that at the default accounting line, and we recommend if you're going to change the accounting for an entire travel authorization to do it before you enter any expense lines. That you go up to the Actions box, drop down menu, and click Default Accounting, click Go, and it brings up the default accounting. So let's say instead of charging this to 20105, we're going to charge it the whole thing to the general fund. We change the fund, click OK. And we'll see in the accounting details that that fund is changed to the general fund. Modifying travel authorizations. Click on Create Modify Travel Authorization. Now let's say that you had a travel authorization returned to you. It wasn't approved. There was a question the approver had. We'll look for the travel authorization by clicking on Search. Call it up. We'll see that it was sent back for revision. There's a note from the approver saying please add hotel and airline reservations to expense lines. So we can go in, click on the attachment link on the expense line for lodging. We'll go find the reservation. Click Upload. Add a description. Okay. We'll then go on to the expense line for air transportation. Click on the link. For attachments, add attachment. We'll go find the airline reservation. Now that we fulfilled the request of the approval, we can resubmit it. You can change anything here. So for example, you could change the dollar amounts if that needed to be changed. You could add notes. You could add other attachments. We're going to click on Summary and Submit. Click on the certification box. Click on Submit Travel Authorization. Click OK to verify that's what we want to do. Click on Refresh Approval Status. You can see it's back with our supervisor for approval. And you can see the path that it's taken during the process. To view a travel authorization, click on the View Travel Authorization link. Click on Search. Brings up a list of all the travel authorizations that this employee has submitted. Take a look at this one. You note that everything is grayed out, shows the approval history, and also shows there's a view printable version link. If you click on that, bring up a printable version of the report, which you can then use your browser's print function to print. So you can also print travel authorizations by clicking on the Print Travel Authorization link. Search for an existing value. And again, you can use the browser's print function. You can cancel travel authorizations that have been approved but have not been applied to an expense report by clicking on the Cancel Travel Authorization link. It brings up a list of the travel authorizations that are in approved but not applied status. You can delete one or all by clicking the boxes. Let's say that we're going to cancel this one. We click on Cancel Selected Travel Authorizations. You'll receive a message that asks you to confirm you want to delete that. Click OK, and you'll see that that travel authorization is no longer there. You can delete travel authorizations in a pending status. Click on the Delete Travel Authorization link. It will bring up a list of travel authorizations in a pending status. You can choose to delete any or all. Let's say we're going to delete this one, and this one. And we'll click on Delete Selected Authorizations. Confirm that's what you want to do. And you'll see that those authorizations have been deleted. This concludes the Travel Authorization webinar.